Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining today's presentation. My name is Rick Paul. I am the Partner Development Manager here for Autotask for Americas East. Today we'll be providing a demonstration of Autotask Workplace Manager for partners. So let's talk about the agenda we'll be reviewing in our presentation this afternoon. We'll be reviewing the Autotask Workplace Manager, also known as your reseller portal. We'll be reviewing the dashboard, as well as the configuration of the Workplace Manager, which will allow you to support your end users, as well as setting up integrations with Autotask PSA and endpoint management. We'll then move on to the provisioning aspect of Workplace Manager, specifically for your internal use license teams, your trials, as well as your clients. And then we'll also talk about managing those client teams. We'll then move over to accessing Autotask Help, as well as our technical support. As Workplace is a partner application and service, you are first-line support for your clients, and we'll talk about how we'll assist you with second tier. We'll then conclude today's overview with a review of the partner playbook and the associated partner toolkit. So let's get started and let's dive into the Autotask Workplace Manager. So on our screen right now is the Workplace Manager. And as I mentioned, we're going to start off with the dashboard. For everybody on the phone today that is Autotask PSA users, this is going to look very familiar from the user interface. Dashboard and widget driven. So as we look at the dashboard, this is going to consolidate the key aspects of your teams. When I say teams, this is referring to, again, those active customers, the teams which are disabled, as well as which trials you may have enabled for your prospects. I can also see the subscription summary details of myself, the partner to Autotask, how many users you currently are using, as well as the additional storage. We'll look at the device connection status, which ones are offline, how long they've been offline for the period of length, devices which may need to be approved before they are enabled within your clients. And then we'll move down to storage by user, storage by teams. We can see our top 3, top 10, top 40. Now, with our dashboards and widgets, this information is live, so if I'd like to see further detailed information, for example, I'll just click into the active teams and see all 54. And I can scroll through and see the details associated. We can also tailor this environment by hiding columns and displaying columns which are important to myself. As we go back to the dashboard, we're going to talk about the configuration aspect. As I mentioned, this is your reseller portal. So before you start supporting your end clients, setting up trials, and even setting up your own internal use license team, you're going to want to set up the configuration aspects of Workplace Manager for you to assist and work with those organizations. So as we move over to the taskbar ribbon bar here, we're going to look at our little gear icon. So first off, we're going to need to set up our support settings. As mentioned, your clients will be contacting you, the partner, for initial support assistance and questions. So here you'll add your support information, such as your email, your phone, as well as your website information. This will be displayed on the help aspect online for your end clients when they're clicking help, as well as the desktop agent when they're accessing that via that manner. This will also integrate into Autotask PSA. So specifically, as you are, your clients are accessing support, that information will then flow through into the PSA, the service desk ticket, follow your workflow rules and processes that you set up, associate the billing relationship to the ticket for profitability. And you can manage your workplace tickets just as you would any other support ticket request that you may receive from your client. I've now clicked into the Workplace Manager access. These, for example, are employees on within your organization, which you are going to provide access to support your clients. You can brand the Workplace Manager. So here in this fictional TrueTech environment, I'm probably going to want to put the TrueTech logo and have the MSP logo and color scheme. You're also going to be able to co-brand your customer environment. We're going to talk about that when we go to administering clients in a few moments. You can also identify notifications, so specifically with within the organization would like to receive notifications from Autotask on the product updates. That can be a specific email address of one people, or you can put group email addresses in here. And then as we move through into the PSA integration, excuse me, this is going to be Autotask PSA. This is a key benefit for our partners that are using Autotask PSA within your business. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to integrate the support aspect from the ticketing workplace into PSA. We're also going to associate in the billing relationships. So specifically here, we're seeing the services. The services names, the plan IDs, what type of service, the period. But obviously, we're going to want you to tailor this to your organization. So we'll modify, and you'll make the services your own. Now, the services names that are listed here will also show up in your product catalog. So if you're wishing to do quotes based on workplace of the services out to your clients, they'll be available to do so within Autotask PSA and quoting applications that integrate with PSA. With the billing integration, this is a great time saver because as you are making modifications to the clients, adding users, maybe adding additional storage, changing those teams, those billing relationships are automatically reflected and updated in your contracts within Autotask PSA and the billing. They're there now for you to approve and post and ready to invoice. So no more having to audit your teams, audit your customers on changes they make, whether that's monthly, quarterly, or so forth, and then re-entering that data. Seamless integration with Autotask PSA. Now, another integration to also note is we have integration with Autotask Endpoint Management. That is the Autotask Remote Monitoring and Management tool. So with AEM, you can have the ability to deploy workplace agents, as well as monitor the workplace environment. That will be set up within Autotask Endpoint Management via the COM store and via the settings within AEM. So let's talk further about our teams, provisioning and setting up trials and so forth. When we click on teams, that's going to identify, just as I mentioned, the trials, the end clients, as well as your own internal use license. Setting up a new team and creating a new team is very simple. We'll just click the Create New Team. And let's say we want to set up a new organization called Boston Soccer. From here, we're going to identify how many user licenses does Boston Soccer require. So in this case, it's a new organization that has 10 employees. Each of those employees have 50 gigabytes of storage that are now associated to the team. That storage is then you deploy to the appropriate resources accordingly to the 10 users. As you see, we can also deploy a server license. That's Autotask Workplace Server. That's used in the case that you have a customer that does require that they want to maintain a file server, and they want to have a hybrid environment within their file sync and share and their collaboration. We're then going to identify our invoice frequency, whether that's going to be monthly or yearly. If this Boston team was a customer team was, for example, your own organization, you would set that up as your internal use license. Now, in this case, we're going to be setting up a trial for a prospect, so we'll click the 14-day trial term. That 14-day trial is the amount of time that the trial is extended for. You can always convert a trial to a paying team for your services prior to 14 days. You can do it within a day, 2 days, 3 days, whatever that may be. We would then move through, and if I'm using Autotask PSA, map the team to the PSA. It's going to ask if it's an existing PSA company, or if not, it will create a new PSA company, new company within Autotask PSA by doing the integration. And then last but not least, you do need to create an administrator. So who's going to administrate the organization within the client? That may be yourself. You may be setting up yourself as a partner, as the MSP to support the end client on their behalf. So creating a team, very simple, very easy, and it's the same process, whether that, again, is a trial as well as a client or your initial internal use license team. So let's talk about managing our teams themselves of the organizations. So I'm going to look down at my customer list here. Let's say Initech. We're going to go in and look at their settings. So here I can view all their team details. I can edit the team specifically. view users and so forth. But in this case, I want to manage their team. So I manage a team. This gives me the ability to set up the configuration. So on our first screen, what we're seeing here is the team themselves. These are the employees. Now, obviously, in a true environment, these individuals that you're seeing here, Cody Watson, are all going to be individual users, employees, with their own allocated storage and so forth. Members and connections are different security levels of the users. As you can see, we can also set up their groups. We can manage their devices, their servers if it's the hybrid environment that I mentioned earlier, and then also deployment. But what we'll focus on right now is our configuration. So configuration is the setting up of the user experience for that customer, in this case, the Initech client. So in this instance, I'd probably want to rebrand this, the logins for them. Right now we're showing a logo that's not specific to Initech. I would put their logo as well as their color scheme and details within the organization, as well as the sender emails. Let's specific this to, say, the TrueTech, the organization, the MSP that I'm logged in as right now. Within Workplace, we do support 3 levels of Active Directory integration: on-prem, LDAP, and Microsoft Azure. So depending on which AD your client is utilizing, you can select the appropriate AD and set that up. We do have detailed configuration information on how to set up each of these aspects of Active Directory within the help, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. We can also enable single sign-on within the organization. And last but not least, our policy profiles. Policy profiles are key when you're configuring a client because the policy profiles are assigned to the team themselves as defaults. They can be assigned to groups. Then they can be even assigned down to the individual employees within that organization. So let's take a look at the team defaults quickly. And we're just going to add some policies, and we're going to show them all. So the policies here are set up in specific areas of expertise here. So we're going to look at security. So specifically what we set up for Initech right now is we have IP address whitelisting. So for example, we're going to whitelist locations where they may be able to log in or not log into the workplace service. Public links, the ability for the employees in this organization to share content externally outside their organization, securely with rules, and that's going to be in the setup within the files and folders themselves. We can add additional security with our watermark preview, which is associated to our view-only sharing policy internally. As I mentioned earlier, device approvals, we may want to require that within this organization. We are going to wipe data when an account has been disabled or an account's been deleted. As you can see, we can add additional security policies. We're also then going to have our password management. So add some strong passwords, and what we're looking at right now is extremely weak. We just have password length. So in this instance, I'd probably want to add some contain digits, contain letters. One of my personal favorites, let's add two-factor authentication. Beef up the security for this environment. We're then going to also be able to manage the policies of the actual desktop agent that the customer's employees are going to be able to deploy. Again, if you enable them to deploy those agents via the policy above. Here we can identify where that workplace folder will be located on their device. We can specify which projects that they must sync. In this case, we're also enabling the backup capability of Workplace. That is file and folder level backup. Personal documents, archive information. And specifically what I've identified here as the MSP is we are going to specify which folder paths are going to be backed up on behalf of the client. As we move down, we can have additional information that we can associate to the desktop agent. We can set up a throttle control, for example, on the download and upload connections for that client. Then we can also associate policies specifically to the mobile devices. For example, maybe you'd like to disable the end user from editing, exporting, or creating content. We may want to add another level of authentication when they log in over their mobile devices. And with Workplace, we do provide mobile apps specifically for both Mac as well as Windows, Mac and Google, excuse me, and Android. As we move through, we have our online editing. So specifically, we can enable multi-user editing for that end client and allowing you to use any of these editing applications. So specifically Google Docs, 365, or OneDrive. Those organizations do need to have those licenses within the organization to use those online editing tools. And then lastly, our notifications policies, restricting emails down to the administrators for both welcome and storage notifications. So very simple to set up those policies. That's really the key when you're setting up initially your clients, and you can make modifications here within the Workplace Manager. Now, in addition to the configuration that we've just seen here within the manager for Initech, you can also assign that level of detail, configuration and setting up policies to the administrators for your end clients. That's an administrator as well as super administrator role. We do have another overview demonstration which will go into details on those aspects for your administrators. So let's talk about now the actual help and the support options that you, the partner, have in contacting Autotask. So as we look at the main ribbon, we're going to go over to our little question mark here. And specifically here, here's where you have access to the following options. Workplace Manager help, our release notes. So whenever we do a release of Workplace, here's where you're going to be identified of those updates. You'll also receive an alert on your Workplace Manager of an update when they go live. The live webinar and training center, this will give you access to register for live classes, live implementation classes. So if you do hire new employees within your organization that are going to be, say, working with your workplace environment and assisting your clients, have those employees register for those live classes. You can take as many of those as you wish. In addition, you can also contact support. So let's go into the Workplace Manager help, because here you do have the ability to have access to this information as well. So as I just mentioned a moment ago, we have keyword searches. So I can quickly just type in specific information and it's going to pop up some results for me directly. I can access my release notes, my before you begin for best practices, troubleshooting, FAQs, top videos, all of our videos that you can use internally, but also videos that you may want to share with your end clients. These videos are also available within the help that your end clients will have access to within their environment. And then also, you'll have access directly here to our partner toolkit, as well as corresponding partner playbook. Here, this will give you the technical as well as sales and marketing tools for you to be successful, as it says. So PowerPoint presentations, quick start guides for your clients, specifically information, marketing, and data sheets. Okay, a lot of great information found in here that you can co-brand and provide as your own. And we also provide, in addition, a marketing automation platform to partners as part of the service, which you can also utilize to promote the service out to your clients. So that's the assistance portion of the help. Let me click one more time back in there, because I want to talk about support a little bit more in depth. So obviously with Workplace Manager, this is your service, this is your reseller portal. As I talked about earlier, you are providing first line of support for your end clients. We are second tier. So if you do need to contact us, it's as simple as just clicking the contact support here, and we do recommend you do it from the Workplace Manager. Because what it will actually do is it will guide you through the aspect of requesting a support ticket. So specifically, we do require IDs. This definitely helps our support team better assist you, the partner, in remediating the issue that your client may be having. IDs on users, devices, files, and teams, and so forth. And then you can submit a ticket directly into Autotask, and our team will then assist you, the partner, to assist your client. So that's a review of the Workplace Manager. So let's click back into the PowerPoint real quick. And let's talk a little bit more just about that partner playbook and toolkit that I referenced just a moment ago. So the partner playbook is a key guide that we provide you, the partner. The playbook, as we say, drives opportunities. So this is designed for you, the business owner. It's designed for your sales team, anybody that's going to be talking to your clients specifically about the benefits of File Sync and Share and the workplace service that you're providing. So as you're seeing here, we have a Getting Started section. We have Getting Started is how to actually go through and set up the service, as we just talked about a moment ago. Education on product training, as well as building education within the organization. You see we have live demonstrations, specifically how you can make money, how partners generate revenue by selling workplace. So this is going to give you tips and tricks on how to identify prospects that workplace may be a great fit for. Then how are you going to enable those organizations, demonstrate those organizations specifically. And then we're going to have marketing plays in that toolkit as well, which we would recommend that you run to onboard and to promote the service to new organizations and when in your onboarding. The toolkit, which I referenced a moment ago, is also going to have some very beneficial content for you to use as a partner. Specifically here, one I've referenced here is our buyer's guide, a key buyer's guide that's, that you can co-brand, provide out to your prospects for you to provide services out to promote the service to your prospects. Vertical case studies that we've identified. We've given you presentation material, so if you're looking to do webinars, lunch and learns, and then also just continued education regarding workplace. Monthly newsletters from us that are now available within the toolkit, and then also additional aspects from third-party experts that we're going to add in within the toolkit. As I talked about earlier, this is available directly to you within the Workplace Manager, and then also in our marketing automation platform. So I'd also like to leave you with, if you do have questions and answers, obviously you can always call your Autotask account manager, as well as feel free to also call your Autotask partner development manager. You have your online help that we just referenced earlier from the Workplace Manager. That is your key, your one-stop shop to have access to both content, videos, and then access our support team. And with that, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us this afternoon on the overview of Autotask Workplace for partners. I wish you all have a great rest of your day. Thank you very much.